outside right now, so we're going to be able to sit here for a little bit. Aaron Rodgers, stop the rain for me, so I can hang out here for a little bit. Waiting for people to come back in. Hopefully we don't end up talking about any more Viagra on a pole matches. I hate Vince Russo. I hate Vince Russo so much. Vince Russo, man, Jim Cornette wants to piss on his grave, and I kind of understand why. I'm not saying he's right, but I understand him. Just like I'm not saying Kurt Busch was right back in 2007 when he threatened to kick Bob Pockrass's ass at Dover, when Bob asked him if being on probation affected the way he raced anybody, and Kurt said it affects me from not kicking your ass, which I thought was one of the most funny things I've ever heard. That was when Bob worked for Scene Daily, which is now part of the Sporting News. Bob now works for Fox Sports as part of the IndyCar and NASCAR coverage, which is pretty exciting for Bob. He's come a long way from being part of the Independent Motorsports Network. We've also got Jeff Gluck, Jeff Gluck and Jordan Bianchi from The Athletic in terms of motorsport, which is pretty cool. Alanis King is now the Independent Motorsport journalist. She's pretty cool. Also have people like Jamie Little. Krista Voda hasn't been around in years. She was the Truck Series pre-race show host for a little while, and then Fox kind of got rid of the pre-race show. She went to NBC, and then she went to NBC for a little while, and then she just disappeared off the face of the earth. So I don't know what's going on with her. Dick Bergeron retired back in 2007. I can't believe it's been 18 years since he retired. Holy crap! 2007 was 18 years ago. That doesn't make 17 years ago. That doesn't make any sense. That genuinely doesn't make any sense. What else is going on for me right now? I'm live here, kind of just hanging out, talking about stuff. If you want to talk about something, let me know. I've been using live to try to boost my watch time because that's been helpful for me to help actually get people engaged and watch and get clips off of them and all that stuff. I'd like to go on a train trip in a private room and just be live for the entire train trip, well, most of the train trip, and see how that goes. I don't know how it would go, especially because in some places there's no real, coverage of the internet. There is a private room from here to New York City or here to Chicago, or I could go to New York City and then take the train from NYC to Chicago. Do something like what Jeb Brooks does, just take a whole bunch of different flights in the same day. He was hub-hopping, and that was just, he goes hub-hopping sometimes, and that's just, like, why? Why do you do that? It's kind of cool to see the videos, because obviously he makes more money than he spends by doing that. I want to go to the state fair, but it's looking like that's probably not going to be a thing this year, because it's this week and next. It starts on Wednesday and it goes to the 1st. Starts on the 20th, goes to the 1st. It's 13 or 14 days. County Fair's last day is today. Nothing really there for me to go see again. Next year I plan on entering the photography contest and going a couple times. I don't know what type of photography I'm going to do. Might do nature, might do landscape, might do some other stuff. A whole bunch of stuff that I'm thinking about. I gotta actually prep myself for Saturday because we got a big event coming up on Saturday. Got a few other things I gotta do this week as well. Got an MRI tomorrow. I don't want to go to the MRI. MRIs aren't fun. This is my third MRI that I've had in my life. Thankfully, they don't cause ionizing radiation like CT. Which is computerized topography, or X-ray, which is X-ray. It's a type of ray, type of radiation. Like light is a type of radiation. Heat is a type of radiation. We get exposed to radiation all the time, and it is what it is. Game starts at 7 for the Mariners. Mets, I'm not 100% sure what the plan is for the Mariners to go to Philly from Williamsport. I don't know how the traffic is, or the travel is from there. The Mets go to Washington on Tuesday. The Mariners' next off day is Thursday. So we have a 3-game set against Philly before we come all the way back home for the Mariners Drone Show this Friday, featuring over 500 drones. Ryan Roman Smith counted each one of them by hand. Mariners Drone Show will be against the Athletics with a 10:10 starting pitch, 7:10 local time in Seattle, 10:10 Eastern. And that'll be against the Athletics for a couple of games. The Athletics are a team that is playing us a lot better than I expected them to this year. It is what it is with that. I don't know why, but it is what it is. I may have picture-in-picture on tonight on my TV as I watch the Bills play the Bears and the Mariners play the Mets in the Little League Classic. Bills game's going to be not really super important to see what happens. Preseason week 2. I think Allen might play a couple of series. We don't really know right now because I haven't been paying attention to much about the Bills preseason stuff other than the James Cook getting like $36 million over a couple of years guaranteed. It's not quite Saquon money, but it's definitely more than I would have thought that we would want to play a guy who isn't consistently on the field on 3rd down. Which is weird that there's not a guy who's consistently not on the field on 3rd down. Boop. And then later tonight, I'm going to be working on my D&D campaigns. I got 2 of them. I've got the one. I've worked out about a month's worth of stuff for it. Session 1. I'm going to do a session 0 for the second one. For the one that I ran last year, we all already knew each other. We did have one problem, which was not great. We had to kick a guy out of the group. It wasn't great. What else happened this week? School starts on a week from tomorrow. I'm taking 2 grad classes, part-time, 6 credits, financial aid covering it. I am hoping to find some sort of income soon because money is something that would be very important. I have a few things I plan on doing over the next few months and weeks, but it's not the end of the, I'm playing Dungeons & Dragons 2 days a week, or 3 days. I'm playing one day and DMing twice. I'm DMing on I'm DMing on Tuesday and Saturday, and I am playing on Thursday. And if there's a chance to get into another game, I might, because my plan is to just bust out all of my school stuff on Thursday, on 1 day a week, and just get it done. Unfortunately, though, there's probably going to be discussion board post replies, which aren't fun, especially because when you read the discussion board posts, you're like, why is this AI? What is this? This is stupid. That's been a thing recently that I've been really frustrated by, people using AI in their education, and I do not agree with it. I think it's not okay to use AI because it regurgitates false information. Yesterday, I asked it a question about paralegal certificates in my area, and it told me I could go to Millard Fillmore College. There isn't a Millard Fillmore College. There used to be a Millard Fillmore Hospital, but there's not a Millard Fillmore College. That's a thing. I might dye my hair more purple again. I don't know. I really don't know what I want to do with it. Purple, blue, burnt sienna. Burnt sienna is kind of the natural color. This is bleached. I might cut all that off at some point, too. Most of the blue from way back in the day, from last year, is gone. which is good because blue was just an experiment. I didn't necessarily like it. I've always liked purple. Purple's like my favorite color. But blue was also like, it looks pretty, so I'm like, I want that. No, it's not pre-recorded. We got a couple of fun things happening with the Mariners next week with the Athletics and the drone show. I'm pretty excited about the drone show. I don't know if Root Sports is going to show it on the post-game show. We have post-game shows for all 162 plus playoffs. We have pre-game shows for 81 plus playoffs, which I'm excited if we make the playoffs. The playoffs are going to be very, very intriguing for the Mariners because we are the only team in the history of Major League Baseball that's currently active that's not made the World Series. We've made the playoffs 5 times in our existence, and we've had 4 players rupture a total of 5 of their testicles. That's quite interesting. Not great. Definitely not great when you have players rupturing their testicles as often as you make the playoffs. You don't want that to be what you're known for, but that's what we're kind of like the current lovable losers, like the Cubs were for a little while. Before 2016, it's kind of like us and now that the Guardians don't have a racist logo, but there's talks of potentially bringing Chief Wahoo back, and I don't like that. I don't like that, but we'll see what happens with this nonsense. There's also talks about bringing back the old name of Washington's team, the old name of the Commanders, which I don't like either, unless they went back to football team, because Washington football team had a certain ring to it that was really exciting. You'd just be like, yeah, what are you watching? I'm watching the football team? Which one? No, the football team. They're from Washington. Oh, okay. Who are they playing? The Seahawks. They're also from Washington, just the other one. Even though the Seahawks are actually in Seattle. They're right across the street from T-Mobile Park. Like literally same parking lot as T-Mobile Park. Mariners and Seahawks stuff can get in the way of each other, especially during the playoffs. In the 2022 playoffs, the Seahawks actually had to change their kickoff because of the Mariners' start time, which was wild that Major League Baseball was actually able to put that sway over the National Football League. Never would have thought that would be a thing that happened. Do you hear the people sing? Remember the 2022 playoffs where the Mariners were down, were up and brought in everybody because they had to play an 18-inning playoff game, and it was just not great because, like, what? And then we lost 1-0 to the Astros. I hated that. I hate losing 1-0. I hate losing to the Astros. I hate the Astros, especially because they're cheaters. But, yeah. They are some really bad cheaters, and I don't like that. Although they've stopped the garbage can stuff. And obviously, like, the other sign stealing, like you got a runner on second base, yeah, that's fine. Now, what I actually found out the other day was that's not allowed in Little League. And I found that out because a Little League team actually suffered consequences and had their manager ejected over it. And I think actually the batter was ruled out because he was getting pitch signs from second base. And in Little League, you're also not allowed to take a lead. I think that's just a safety thing. You're also not allowed to take a lead in softball. I don't know why. One thing I would take from softball / college baseball for Major League Baseball is a double bag at first. That would eliminate some of the collisions that we see at first base and make it a lot safer. And it wouldn't change anything about the game fundamentally. It would make it safe. Breaking news. Ohtani is injured, might be out for 2 years, most likely retire. What? Hold on. I gotta check that. I'll be back in a second, Sonu. Yeah, so nothing about that, just his lawsuit against him. The not great lawsuit against him. Because, like, of course there's a lawsuit against him for a financial situation. If Ohtani were forced to retire early, I don't know what the Dodgers would do. I'd assume that they'd be required to pay him. Well, actually, no. Major League Baseball contracts are fully guaranteed. That's a lot of money that they are paying for Ohtani. That's $700 million over two decades. And remember, he's 31, so that contract will end when he's 38. And if that contract... No, it's not money gambling and money laundering. Wow, that weather just got weird. It's a lawsuit for a real estate developer that allegedly he got fired. The whole thing is weird. Apparently, he was going to be part of this real estate deal in Hawaii. 14 units, each one worth like $21 million. And he was going to be a resident at one of them, so they're only going to be able to sell 13 of them to other people. But obviously, part of it was he was going to get that. And it was this whole thing. And they wanted to do it because a lot of Japanese people do end up actually summering or wintering in Hawaii, which, you know, is totally cool. Hawaii is kind of like halfway between California and Japan. A really fun cruise would be like leave out of Los Angeles, head up to Seattle, go up to Alaska, swing over down the Aleutian Islands into the Siberian Peninsula, Siberian area of Russia, head down, go to Japan, swing around, go, you know, Japan, Korea, China, go down to Australia. You're afraid that, oh no, I don't want them to crucify Justin Fields on a national broadcast. That would be awful. That would be the worst thing. But yeah, Woody Johnson makes trades based on Madden ratings. What are you doing? Why are you letting your teenage sons run your football team? They should be in school, not running a football team. Yeah, we're going to not trade for this guy who's a really good wide receiver because his Madden rating's an 86. What? That don't make no sense. Well, we're doing it anyway. Okay. Also, we signed Aaron Rodgers, and he ruptured his Achilles. What? I don't know how Rodgers is going to do this year for the Steelers. I absolutely want to see his first game back with the Steelers. Well, not first game back, but first game action in the regular season with the Steelers. Obviously, the worst case scenario is he injures himself and is out for the season. But the second worst case scenario is he takes the snap and throws a pick six on his first snap and then just keeps doing shit like that. Or like Michael Porter Jr. yesterday. Brother's banned from the league for gambling. And he says, yeah, if all my homies say they got 10K on me getting the under today, I'm going to fake an injury. Like, what? You can't say that shit, Michael Porter Jr. He's on a generational reverse PR maximum CTE run. I didn't even know basketball players outside of Draymond Green got CTE. And I think Draymond Green is a rare case. I think Draymond Green was born with CTE. He was born with CTE. And not the good kind of CTE. Not that there is a good kind of CTE. But he was born with the kind of CTE that makes you start kicking people in the nuts on a basketball court. That whole situation, that 2016 finals, where Draymond gets suspended, that whole thing, that really changed the complexion of that series. And LeBron just went God mode. LeBron just said, screw you, I'm going to average a triple-double and lead the whole series in points, assists, blocks, rebounds, points, assists, blocks, rebounds, and steals. It's like, what are you doing, LeBron? Could you stop? And LeBron was like, no, I'm bringing this team back from down 3-1 by myself right now. And then he did it. And I've hated LeBron ever since. There's some people who say that you could tell if somebody's racist for the reason they hate LeBron. So, like, if they hate LeBron for a basketball reason, they're not racist. But if they hate LeBron for a non-basketball reason, they are. And it's like, well, he's also a billionaire, so that's a different part of that. And, like, we can't say there's ethical billionaires, so LeBron and Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift taking her fucking plane to go get coffee. That was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. What do you mean you're going to take your plane to go get coffee? And it's not like you're going to pick up the coffee and importing it. You're just going to go across town. You could have taken the bus or walked or drove your car. 10 million different other things that you could have done, but you chose that one. It's just starting to rain a little bit. Not too bad. So I could stay out for a little bit longer, as long as it doesn't get wild. We really needed the rain here. It's been pretty dry for about a month. And when I say dry, I mean dry and hot. Like 90, 95, 100 degrees. It's been hot. And it ain't been fun for me, because I got a medicine that makes it so that if I'm in too hot of heat, I sweat my ass off. And, like, it's been like that recently. And I really don't like it at all, because it's just not fun. But now that it's raining, it's cooled off a lot. The thermometer says it's 78 degrees, 78, 79 degrees. So that's pretty nice. And if it rains a little bit more, it'll cool it off probably 5, 10 more degrees. Plus, there's cloud cover, which is really nice. Cloud cover is awesome. Because cloud cover during the day, good. Cloud cover at night, not so much. So what happens at night is the clouds will keep some of the radiation from going in out of the atmosphere back into space. So what you want is you want cloud cover during the day to cool things off. Yes, if Josh Allen doesn't make it to the Super Bowl this year, I think the Bills fans are either going to do that or they're going to be calling for McDermott. McDermott is in his 9th season as Bills coach. He's been here since 2016. He's been here a long time. And he's got a couple of AFC Championship game appearances, and he's got a bunch of winning records. He only has one losing record, and that was the year where Allen wasn't Allen yet. Hello, Mr. More Beef. Thought that might have been Mr. Beefy, the Andy Ditch guy. Which would have been interesting to see Mr. Beefy, the Andy Ditch guy come in here. Yeah, I think definitely if the Bills don't the Bills at the very least need to make it to the AFC Championship game and have a chance to win it in the fourth quarter for McDermott to keep his job this year. But my understanding is only Terry Pegula can fire him and not the general manager. And with that makes it a little harder. Terry Pegula generally is a bit incompetent at certain things. He took the Sabres from the 6th most successful regular season franchise in NHL history by points percentage to the longest playoff drought in NHL history. Brian Daboll getting crucified? No, but I do think Brian Daboll's seat is very, very hot. Brian Daboll's seat is probably the hottest seat in the National Football League this year. If the Giants don't come out, win 3 of the first 4 games, I think Brian Daboll's done. I think he might even be the first one fired this year. Honestly, I predict Brian Daboll doesn't make it to... I'll give it week 7. I'll give it week 7 unless the Giants are like 6-2 or 6-1, 5-2. Even 4-3, yeah. But anything worse than 4-3 after week 7, and I don't think Daboll keeps going, because Daboll's been there for a little while. Why is there a raspberry in my ground? That's random. We didn't plant it there. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. This week, my plans are pretty simple. Monday, MRI. Tuesday, recover from MRI. Mariners game. Wednesday, recover from MRI. Mariners game. Thursday, do nothing. Friday, do nothing. Mariners game. Saturday, we got the Daytona International Speedway having the NASCAR Cup Series regular season finale. William Byron clinched the NASCAR Cup Series regular season championship, holding greater than a 60-point lead over the second place car today. Over the second place car as of yesterday's finish. Alex Bowman sits 58 points above the cut line and ninth in regular season points. However, should there be a new winner, he would fall out due to the amount of winners and the number of winners who are below him in points. SVG and Denny Hamlin stand tied at the top of the series standings with 4 wins apiece. Denny Hamlin has wins on multiple types of tracks. Bubba Wallace is also counted towards the Denny Hamlin owner winning statistics. So Denny Hamlin has been involved in 5 victory lane celebrations this year, 4 of his own and 1 for his 2311 team that is currently embroiled in a major lawsuit against the National Association of Stock Car Auto Racing. SVG's all wins have come on road courses, including his first at the Chicago Street Course back in 2023, nothing last year, and then 4 this year, becoming the first driver in NASCAR history to have 5 wins in their rookie season. Denny Hamlin had 4 in his rookie season of 2006, including 2 at Pocono. And if you remember, Denny Hamlin actually won the Budweiser Shootout in 2006 because he won a pole position filling in for Jason Leffler during the end of the 2005 season. And maintained his rookie eligibility for 2006. Denny Hamlin is the only driver as of right now who have qualified for all but one of the NASCAR playoffs. No, I think I like the Mariners. I like the Mariners retiring number 51 twice. A lot of people don't know this, but the Mariners actually assigned Randy Johnson number 51, and the Oryx Buffaloes assigned Ichiro the number 51 in the 1993 season, and it was just a number for Ichiro. It didn't mean anything, and Ichiro talked about this in his retirement speech, or in his acceptance speech the other day. He comes to the Mariners and says it's great to be home, but there was one thing he had to do first. He had to ask Mr. Randy Johnson if he could wear the number 51, and Randy Johnson said yes, and Ichiro promised not to bring dishonor to it. And I think the 3,089 hits, career over 300 batting average, 100-plus home runs, over 600 stolen bases, and 60-plus wins above replacement throughout his career show that Ichiro did not bring dishonor to Randy Johnson, number 51. Randy Johnson spent several years with the Mariners, including getting the Mariners to their first postseason appearance in 1995. That team was one of the teams that we thought was going to go all the way. Unfortunately, the Mariners ran into multiple issues in their other playoff appearances, including in 2001 when they played the Yankees, who seemed like a team of destiny after 9/11. Remember 9/11, everyone thought that that was going to lead to the New York Yankees winning their, at the time, 24th World Series. The Yankees have now won 25th World Series. The Yankees have now won 27, and if you remember, Ichiro was traded from the Mariners to the Yankees because the Mariners were not doing well, and the Yankees were. Unfortunately, Ichiro was traded to the Yankees after their most recent World Series win there and before their next World Series win. Ichiro never got a chance to play in the World Series, but he did get a chance to play in the postseason for the Mariners, which I think is wonderful. Ichiro's 262 hits in 2004 stand as a major league record that may never be broken, as nobody bats for that much average anymore unless you're playing the show. Yes, the Mariners allowing Randy Johnson to go to the Diamondbacks definitely needed to be punished, because the Diamondbacks getting Randy Johnson led them basically to winning a World Series. The Mariners and Diamondbacks have a long history of players going between the two of them, as the Mariners have obtained Josh Naylor from the Diamondbacks. The Mariners obtained Andres Munoz from the Diamondbacks, and the Mariners obtained Dominic Canzone from the Diamondbacks. And the Mariners traded Eugenio Suarez to the Diamondbacks at the end of the 2023 season in an effort to reduce strikeouts, and then reacquired him this year. Since July 31st, 2025, when Eugenio Suarez made his re-debut for the Seattle Mariners, he's batting .143 with 2 home runs, a couple of runs scored, and like 5 RBIs. A .143 batting average with less than a .222 slash and a slug of under 300. Based on all of that, from what I gathered, his WRC plus is negative 100, which would make him 200% worse than the average Major League Baseball hitter, meaning he's been less than 200 feet. And remember, average does not mean replacement level. I'm doing all right, thank you. Average does not mean replacement level. The average replacement level team should have a win rate of about 296, and the Rockies have a win rate much lower than that, which is unfortunate for them. And it's really unfortunate that the Rockies also lead the league in coming back from being down 9-0 without having a chance to bat first. They also have a lead in Major League Baseball in coming back from being down 5-0. Does that make any sense? No, but it happened. The Pirates were up 9-0 on the Rockies the other day, and then the Rockies came back and won the baseball game, which was wild. It was absolutely wild to me that happened, but it is what it is. Something I need to invest in is a microphone for the phone that cuts out background noise. I also need to invest in one for the PC that it cuts out background noise, because those things would be very, very important so that I can actually not have you hearing the dog over there or any other random nonsense that may be happening over the course of the video. King Felix Hernandez, should the Mariners management be crucifying him around him, writing him off for assets during his prime? So Felix is an interesting one because he's got like 168 wins. He's got a really low ERA. He's got the strikeouts. He's got the 23rd perfect game in Major League history. There's been one since, and that was in 2023. That was the Yankees threw that perfect game. And so it adds authenticity. Nice. So it's interesting to see with Felix, because he often would lose 1-0, which meant, he gave up a run, got pulled in the 6th or 7th. The Mariners couldn't do anything. The bullpen just does the nonsense. It was never any run support. I think he actually at every point in his career was the lowest in the league in terms of run support. A lot like Logan Gilbert right now. Logan Gilbert has like a 3.02 ERA, but he has less than 13 decisions this season in his 25th start, which is wild. It doesn't make any sense. It's wild. It doesn't make any sense that Logan Gilbert is like that. But Felix, I think the Mariners potentially could have traded him for some assets, but it would have probably made the team overall worse because he was their best pitcher for most of the time he was there. Obviously, after he threw that perfect game for the Mariners, his trade value most likely would have been at its highest, and either could have got something for him. And it was the 119th game of the season, 23... 33 years, 119 games when Dave Sims said. Dave Sims is now the radio announcer for the Yankees full time, which I don't know how I consider that. Now, I would think that Felix enjoyed his career. I do know that the other day he was in the, 3 months ago, he was in the broadcast booth for a little bit, and I think he's struggling with alcohol use disorder, and I'm hoping he can get treatment, but obviously, if you don't have treatment for it, if you don't want treatment for it, you can't get it because it doesn't work. But that 168 wins and the massive strikeouts, 23rd perfect game in Major League history, that makes me think that he should be in the Hall of Fame. Thanks, Kush. That makes me think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but the problem is the Baseball Writers of America don't necessarily see that as a Hall of Fame career, because we've got Verlander trying to get 300. Verlander's got 3,500 strikeouts. Verlander just got 3,000. Kershaw just got 3,500. Both of them potentially had that chance at 300 wins, but pitchers don't get 300 wins now. Pitchers don't even get 300 decisions in a career these days because they get pulled, leads change, bullpens blow leads. Yeah, he did win that Cy Young. Well, if you've never had a positive test and you've admitted to steroids, that makes me question your supplier. Because, like, if you say, yeah, I was taking steroids, and then they test you and it's clean, I'm not going to be mad. I'm going to be mad that I admitted to doing it, and then I'm going to go find my supplier and be like, what are you giving me? And then they're probably going to be like, for a full career. Like these days, a pitcher doesn't get like 300 decisions for a career. A pitcher might be lucky to get 300 decisions. So, in order to play 330 games, let's do the math simple, 330 games, you need 10 years of 33 starts. So you got to have good enough stuff to be in the rotation for 10 years. Okay. You got to not be injured at any point during those 10 years and make every single one of your 33 starts. You got to go 5 innings and leave with a lead that the bullpen doesn't blow in each of those starts to get a win. So let's say in half of those, let's say in 90% of those you go 5 innings. So we take away, baseball. Let's say even 95% of those you go 5 innings. You take away 5%. Ben Roethlisberger should be a Hall of Famer. It's complicated because if we just talk about on-the-field play, Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Famer. If we talk about character, Ben Roethlisberger should be in jail because of the whole, SA allegations and everything. I think he admitted it and paid people off. Favorite perfume? I really like things that smell like lavender. I actually really like the lavender flower. Thanks, Joe. But let's just say 330 starts over 10 seasons, right? You go 5 innings in 5% or 95% of them. So you take away 5 per 100. So 5, 10, 15. So call it 305 starts, you go 5 innings. Let's say in 50% of them, you are in the lead after 5 innings. Now you got to go a couple more innings or have your bullpen cover the last 4 innings to make sure that you don't, 6, 7, 8, 9, 4 innings, to make sure that you don't lose. You have to make sure your bullpen covers that 4, you cover that 4. But let's say you leave with the lead in the 6th, 1-0. They tie it up. Suddenly you're in line for a no decision. Let's say half those games are like that. Half of those, 50% of those games. So now we're down to 175 games you left with a lead. Now you cut off half of those that come no decisions. Or you just left, let's just say, and then also you got the losses too. It's really hard to get 300 wins. It's really hard to get 300 decisions. I'm in my 11th season or 8th season in MLB The Show. I really like the Mariners logo, and I like the Cubs logo. I think those are both pretty cool. I'm in my 8th season in MLB The Show as a straight pitcher. I have 2,000 plus strikeouts. I've only got 168 wins. So I need 142 more wins in order to make 300 wins. I don't know if that's going to happen. As a hitter, I get 4, 5, 6 plate appearances a game for 150 games per season, if not more. So I can break those records easily. In my rookie year, I hit 97 home runs in that one. But the pitching records are really hard. So all this to say, I think that once the Baseball Writers of America understand that 300 wins, 200 wins, 150 wins even 200 wins even right now, 200, 250, 300 wins can't be a criteria for the Hall of Fame anymore. as like a counting stat, because that's just not realistic the way that modern baseball is played for a pitcher to get 300 wins or 200 wins or 250 wins. It's just not how things work these days, and it's unfortunate. And it sounds, by the way, you're leaking it out. About it used to be, you used to hit 300, if so, how come? Well, dudes used to hit 300 wins because you didn't get pulled. I played a little bit. I also coached my brother's little league team for a year, which was pretty fun. Other than the time when we beat the other team 54-0 and got in trouble. That was fun for us, not for the other team. They hated it. Oh, yay, a video is up. I'm going to watch later. My friend's video. Yeah, we beat them 54-0. They had nobody reach second base. They had a couple people reach first base, and then we raced them in double plays. The only player that didn't reach base for our team actually was my brother. He struck out looking 3 times. And I was like, okay, it is what it is. And hitting 300, that's still possible. But now teams are looking for something different than a 300 hitter. They're looking for that 330 on base guy as opposed to that 330 hit guy. Because with a walk, there is a little bit of an advantage and a disadvantage to a walk. With a hit, there can be an error. With a hit, there can be a dude advancing an extra base. With a hit, you can score a run from second. You can score a run from first, potentially. With a walk, you can't score a run from first or second. The runner has to come in from third with runners on first, second, and third already, and then you send in the walk, like what happened with Munoz last year when he walked four straight batters and walked in the winning run for the other team, which was really frustrating to see, but it happened. With a hit, it drops down. The fielder doesn't field it cleanly. Anything can happen. You got a guy who's top 10%, top 1 percentile in sprint speed. He can take off, go from first to third, go from first to home. He can score a run. So it's like there's differences. There's pros and cons to being an on-base guy or a high-average guy that doesn't strike out a lot. And if you're a high walk guy, a high OBP guy, there's a chance you might strike out a little bit because you're going to be in those full counts and you're going to be taking it out of your hands and putting it in the ump's hands on whether you walk or strike out. Like contact hitters like Luis Arias. J.P. Crawford, even on the Mariners, is a really good example of a contact hitter this year. But he's also really good at on-basing. But he also has some downsides to his game, like specifically being the worst defensive shortstop in Major League Baseball. He makes the plays that you need him to make, but he has no range, and he doesn't make errors very frequently. But he doesn't make those like impressive plays or the range or anything. And when we had Ben Williamson at third base, that was easy to cover up. But now that we've got Gino Suarez at third base, it's not as easy to cover up because Gino was absolutely a defensive downgrade in both speed and glove and throw at third base from Ben Williamson, with a massive upgrade, in theory, of the bat of Ben Williamson. Ben Williamson hit a couple of home runs down in Tacoma. Miles Masterboni's down in Tacoma now, too. Anthony Rendon should give the money back. In fact, not only should Anthony Rendon give the money back, he should pay it back with interest. Anthony Rendon should be forced to feed all of the homeless people in Los Angeles for the rest of his life with that money. Because, like, there's actually, have you guys ever seen this? I can't pull it up right now because I'm on the phone, not the computer. There's actually an Anthony Rendon theft tracker website that tells you how much money he's stolen from the Angels. And it's a lot of damn money. It's so much damn money. I've never seen anybody steal that much money and not go to, well, anybody who's not a politician steal that much damn money and not go to jail. Because you know how politicians can. They can get away with anything. Freaking Andrew Cuomo kills everybody's grandma. Now he's running for mayor in New York City. How much did he steal? It's like $33,000 a second. And it goes up every second, every missed plate appearance, every miss at bat. It goes down when he has an at bat. It goes down for the per at bat. But like, based on the production that he was supposed to have, the contract basically said he should have put up 20 to 30 wins above replacement over the course of his contract. He ain't even played 200 games. He's not even played a season and a half for the Angels. He's not playing this year. He stole so much damn money from the Angels with that contract, and it's just like, what are you doing, Anthony Rendon? Why are you like this? Could you not? What else happened with the Angels are a really interesting, like 50 million. Yeah. The Angels are a really interesting case study in how not to run a baseball team. Because what do you mean you've got Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout on the same baseball team, and you don't make the playoffs ever? And then when you got this big international tournament, Ohtani plays for Japan, Trout plays for the USA, they face each other in the final plate appearance of the game on the line, and Ohtani strikes him out to get the save, and wins the championship. And when they play together, they can't do a damn thing because everybody else doesn't know what they're doing or how to play baseball. Or you give an Anthony Rendon $28 million a friggin' year. You're giving a guy who doesn't even like baseball money to not play baseball, which doesn't make any sense. But that's just the way it is. He's like, if I show up to my job and I say, yeah, I hate my job, I'm probably gonna get fired and not paid after I get fired. But if he gets designated for assignment, they still got to pay him all his money. So they're probably just keeping him on the roster because they're like kind of like hoping he does something to void the contract. Like, I don't know. Like when Naheem Hines was on a speedboat and the Bills were able to potentially void his contract in 2023? No, 2024? Yeah, I agree with you on that. If you have two of the greatest players of all time and the coach stinks, or the general manager stinks and doesn't bring it up and bring the right people around you, especially when, baseball's 26 guys, 9 of them playing at a time, you got to have the right guys with the right mindset. You got to have the guys that know how to play baseball, know what they're doing. You got to have the manager that makes the right decisions. I'm super interested in seeing what happens with the Lakers this year and if LeBron forces his way out. The Golden State Warriors are not hard capped right now. The Golden State Warriors can make a trade for LeBron. And there's been some rumors that Steph and Draymond are trying to make that happen. I don't know how I feel about that, considering 2016, a decade ago, but still. I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah. Yeah, it's been one of those things where it's been wild for me to see. No, I would love to see Curry and LeBron play together. It's just like, man, I'd have so many flashbacks to 2016. Iguodala, blocked by James. Man, that was just... I mean, it was one of the best moments in NBA history, just not as a Golden State fan. And I had a manager that year, my general manager at Longhorn that year. He was from Cleveland, and he was like, man, I can't wait to see LeBron win, blah, 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 blah. And we were talking about it. We put the finals on every night. It was great. Actually, I got, it was the following year, it was 2017, end of 2016 was when I started at Longhorn. Because middle of 2016 was when I was in the mental hospital with Andy Ditch. That's a whole other thing. I don't know if you guys know who Andy Ditch is, but he's this dude who fakes autism, and one time he ruined a motel by wiping feces all over it. No, I can't, unfortunately. Never learned how to do anything like that. Um, Man, that motel that he ruined, he didn't have to pay for it either. The Department of Social Services paid for it. Yeah, he is. He's in Erie, Pennsylvania right now. So he ran away. He ran away from home, got a Greyhound, ended up in Cleveland. Hey, Renee. Ended up in Cleveland, got his ass arrested for just laying in the middle of the street. And they were like, you know what? Instead of just having you go to jail or anything, here's some money for a bus ticket back home. He got into an altercation in Erie, Pennsylvania at the bus stop, so they kicked him off the bus. And then he ended up in a group home, and a whole bunch of stuff happened. You got to go look at the January crash out. Man, that January crash out was wild. Like, legit wild. I've never seen anything like that. He started screaming. The nurse told him he was a fake. And then the nurse was like, I don't have capacity to deal with you. Because, like this happened to my grandpa. My grandpa's got really severe dementia. And because of that, he doesn't have any medical or legal capabilities and capacity. So therefore, his power of attorney, which is my grandma, has to make his medical decisions and his legal decisions for him. And his dementia's so bad, it's because he literally can't. He literally can't do anything. He's 84 years old, dementia, bladder cancer. He's on hospice. But what was interesting was my mom took him to the emergency room when we found out he had, or took him to the emergency room and the appointment where we found out he had cancer after he had some blood in his diaper. Like, he actually needs one because he's, he can't control himself. He can't control his bladder. He can't control his bowels. He can't talk. We don't even know how much time he's got left. He could die right now. He could die in a month. He could die in 6 months. Anything could happen. We don't really know. It's one of those things where we've got to just sit and wait and see. And unfortunately, most of it's just all about comfort care. He's been getting pain medication. He's been getting aids. Actually, today and yesterday, my mom had to go to Grandma's house to change him a couple times because the aide walked out, which ain't good. Usually, we have an aide Monday through Friday who's a really good aide. He's late sometimes, but he'll, make up the hours at the end of the day, whatever. It's fine. He takes care of Grandpa, which is the biggest thing that we care about. But then on the weekend, because dude needs his 2 days off a week, because he ain't working 56 hours, because they don't want to pay that overtime, they're making like $19 an hour to be a home health aide, which is wild to me. I remember when I was looking into it when I was younger, it was like 11, 10. It was wild, like no money in it. But this was like over a decade ago. But yeah, so Mom had to go there. And the problem with that is Mom has knee surgery in 10 days. 9 days. No, 10 days. And so I got to be involved in taking care of her for that. I didn't even see it. Oh, the one about doing a black flip? I can't do a backflip. I don't know how. I've never done one. And I'm not going to try one now because I don't want to hurt myself. I was already in the emergency room once this month for a motor vehicle accident that was in no way my fault. I was on the bus. And somebody decided to fight the bus with their car and ran a stop sign. We T-boned him. He was okay. He said to go to the hospital. We T-boned him. No, I can't do any types of flips. I'm sorry. We T-boned the dude. His car spun, ended up hitting the side of the bus. I got jolted forward. Almost, pretty sure I got a concussion out of it. Was, 2 Wednesdays ago? Yeah, 2 Wednesdays ago. Burger flip? No, I don't do that anymore. I haven't worked fast food in a while. Yes, I can flip grilled cheese, but I don't have any right now. But that actually might not be a bad idea for tomorrow for lunch. Because I'm worried that I might throw up in the MRI because of nausea and anxiety and stuff. So I might have something that's binding, like a cheese or something for lunch. Hair flip? Like that? That was not good. A couple of my friends are going to see K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters next week. Thank you. K-pop Demon Hunters in theaters next week, the sing-along version. And I might go if I have time. And they're all cosplaying the Saja Boys. And it's like, come on. Cosplay the Demon Hunters. No, Joey, I'm not going to do that. I don't even know how you would do that. That doesn't even seem possible. Can I do a trick shot from the high-rise crane? Well, that would require a couple of things. 1, a basketball hoop. 2, a crane. 3, a basketball. And 4, me to have any skill whatsoever in basketball. Now, I have a basketball. It's in the garage somewhere. I don't have a basketball hoop. It rusted and broke. I don't have a crane, nor do I have any idea how I would go about obtaining one. In the video games, I could potentially do that, yeah. I'm thinking about getting 2K this year. I didn't get it last year or the year... The last 2K... I got my Xbox in 23. So, yeah, the last 2K I got was 23. So this would be 26, which would mean it would be enough time had passed since the last one to buy it. Because, like, 2K is not a game that I invest myself heavily in. But every once in a while, it's nice to just have it in my library to say, hey, I've got 2K, I'm going to play it. Like I bought college football last year because I was a college student and I wanted to support my school and my friends. And apparently the more you play with your school in this year's college football, the more money they get. So, maybe? No, I would adopt the homeless cat. Why would I fight a homeless cat? That's mean. Oh, you bring the cat home. Oh my God, you guys, go to my profile. If you want to see something really cool, me and my friend went to the fair on Monday, so like 6 days ago, and there was an exotic zoo. I wouldn't do that to a dog either. What do you think I am, Michael Vick? There was an exotic zoo there, and it was only $3 extra to get in. $3, which, like, that's not much. And then $2 for some lettuce leaves. And you could feed the lettuce leaves to the capybaras or the tortoises. Yeah, I'd probably fight a crocodile and get my ass kicked. But I'd try. Because, like, I'd be trying to save my life. But yeah, if you go a few videos back, like probably like 40 or 50 videos back on my shorts, you can see me feeding capybara. 2 little baby capybaras that I estimate to be 3 or 4 months old. They're a little skittish at first, but when you just throw the lettuce into the thingy, they come and get it. They love lettuce. They eat so fast. Well, I didn't. I watch some WWE every once in a while. I've been listening to Jim Cornette's podcast recently. I got really into that after he reacted to the Vince McMahon stuff. Because I watched the Vince McMahon documentary, because I watched a lot of WWE when I was a kid. I don't know if you remember this what the fuck was that? In 2007, on Friday Night SmackDown, WWE had Vince walk out, do this somber-ass walk thing, and then his limo blew up. And then, you know, real-life stuff. Probably a honey badger, yeah. And then real-life stuff happened. Yeah, I watch the NFL. I support the Bills and the Colts. Unfortunately, the Colts are a shit show right now. Anthony Richardson already friggin' injured. I agree. Home cooked, what? Home cooked honey badger. Would that even taste any good? How would that taste? What would that taste like? I don't know what that would taste like. I don't even know if I want to know what that tastes like. But yeah, the NFL tonight, the Bills play the Bears. Why do you want me to say you bastards? You think I killed Kenny? I didn't kill Kenny. Honey badger tastes like tuna? What? Are you saying I'm Peggy Hill? Which actually, that's not the worst to be. Richardson, he is trash. The problem is, who else we got on the roster? Who else do we have on the roster? I don't know who else can play quarterback on that roster. Yeah, we got people on the depth chart listed as quarterback, but I don't know if they can play quarterback. And that's the problem. It's like the Bills. They got Josh Allen and then two guys who can play quarterback, allegedly. They got Mitch Trubisky and that other guy. I can't remember what that other guy's name is. I watched him play football last week, too. It's a whole thing. I watched him play football last week, so it was a whole thing, and it was just, yeah. Reminds me of the Son of Sam. I don't know if that's a good thing, but yeah, that's my neighbor's dog barking. What's the MRI for? My back. I injured my back a while ago, so the first thing we thought was that because I fell a few times, we thought that maybe I had broken something, so we were like, hey, let's go get an x-ray. We got the x-ray. The x-ray was like, your disc height's still good, no fractures. You got a little bit of that, like everybody who goes through life has a little bit of osteoporosis kind of stuff, but it's no big deal. It's probably not causing your pain. We're going to send you to physical therapy for 8 weeks. I go to physical therapy. They're like, all right, tell me what hurts. And I'm like, everything? Because there was more that there's stuff you can't see on an x-ray. So physical therapy was like, all right, we're going to do some tests. They did some tests, did some strength tests. They were like, well, you're really strong here, really weak there for what you should be. These numbers aren't adding up. We're going to do this and see how you feel. We did that. I felt worse. Then we tried some other stuff and I felt better. So we added and modified to the stuff that made me feel better. And then we kept going, and I had a home exercise plan. Part of that home exercise plan is just laying on the floor every day for like an hour. Just laying on my stomach every day for like an hour to try to decompress my spine. I usually do that right during bed, right before bed, where I just lay on the floor right before bed. I try to get some of that. Like I follow a guy on TikTok who is a really good physical therapist and osteopath out of the UK, who talks about some of the stuff that even I talked about with my physical therapist. So tomorrow we're getting a MRI of the lower spine just to see if there's maybe a disc herniation, or possibly, because my mom's got rheumatoid and psoriatic arthritis, we're potentially worried that I might have that. And if I have that, it's a major problem because, like, I would have to go see other doctors. Right now I'm seeing orthopedics about it. I also go see neurology in a couple weeks, but that's about some other stuff, just to make sure that my brain's working fine. But with all that, like, we're going to check it. I go see the ortho doctor next week, Monday. So the MRI is going to come back, probably going to say I got a herniated disc at L4. It's probably not as herniated as it was before physical therapy because my physical therapist actually worked really well. My physical therapist actually worked really well with me to get me back to functioning. I was walking with a cane for a while. I still have a cane, and I do use it from time to time. Like this Saturday, I'm more than likely going to be using the cane because I'm going to be out and about for the whole weekend. Like the whole weekend, so I'm going to, or the whole day. No fighting in the comments with each other, okay? So like sometimes what ends up happening is just my body just gives out because we're not 100% sure what the correct treatment is. We're going to check. Hopefully the answer isn't surgery. Hopefully it's just you've got a little bit of a herniation in the disc. We're going to wait. We're going to do maybe a little bit more physical therapy. Keep doing my home exercise program, which I do 5 times a week. Which is nice to just be able to do that 5 times a week because it gets me burning some extra calories too, which has been nice because I've been trying to lose weight. I'm down to like 310 right now. I've fluctuated this week between 310 and 313, which was pretty nice because I was at like 320 a couple weeks ago. So things are getting better and better and better as I go through them, and that's wonderful. We love that. We absolutely love to see that. We want, progress that's sustainable. But also, it helps me feel better, and as it helps me feel better, good things happen, which is important because feeling better is the most important part of physical therapy in your home exercise program with physical therapy. Because, like, the one thing my physical therapist said, thanks, Jafar, no killing Aladdin, okay? Keep him alive. It's such a good movie. I saw the live action Aladdin like 6 times in theaters. It's such a good movie. And then I saw the live action Lion King. And it was so bad, I turned around, bought another ticket to the next showing, and hate watched it. Because it was that bad. I was like, this is terrible. Why is this a thing? And unfortunately, it was a thing because Disney thought it was good. Maybe someday. I don't know. I'm thinking about doing a live with my friend from TikTok who does cartoon stuff. Hey, Clover Daddy, how you doing? I'm not going to be on here for much longer because I got to go inside for a little bit. But I will be back on at 7 o'clock for the Mariners game. Basically, I'm going to go off and pause for like 15 minutes. I'll make an announcement on TikTok too and Instagram. I have plenty of friends. But yeah, I was thinking about doing, the person I'm talking about is Late Night Saturday Morning on TikTok. She's a King of the Hill TikToker and YouTuber. And I'd absolutely be interested in seeing what she would love to, what she would cost to have come to the convention that I work with every year. Anyway, right now I am going to go get ready for the Mariners game. Clover Daddy, I will be back online around 5 to 7. Mariners are playing the Mets in the Little League Classic. So I'll talk to you guys shortly.